very quickly get into the map ban phase to see where we're going to go. The last time these teams played each other, it was a 7-5 victory for Ninjas in Pyjamas on Clubhouse. So where are we going to go? Don't be fooled. There are two teams banning, even though their logos are the same color. We're going to go to Consulate. So there is our match and our map for these two teams.
So, taking a look at Consulate here, it appears to be a better map for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but we haven't seen Team 1 play Consulate in a good long time. It's typically a map that is banned quite frequently by Team 1. The fact that it made it through is somewhat surprising. I think it's worth noting that you can see there, Team 1's last ban was Cafe. Cafe is the only map Team 1 have won on in the last few months. So, I guess it was probably that they just figured Ninjas in Pyjamas was better on it, which is fair because Ninjas in Pyjamas have a decent record there. About 90% of you guys think that NIP are going to take this match, and I can't say that I am surprised by that community vote. By the current standings for these teams, we're talking about the first place team in the head of the pack against the dead last team in 8th. But all that preamble done, we'll go ahead and launch into the game. It's long-awaited appearance, finally here. And, well, Consulate, I think, is going to be a good map for Ninjas in Pyjamas. We don't have much to say about Team 1 since they haven't really played it recently.
No, NIP have played it. We saw them play it a few times throughout the course of the 6 Invitational. So there's obviously a lot of information that Team 1 have, and they could have very easily counter-stratted. I don't know how much they have, or if they have at all here. We'll get to the map ban phase, and the first ban is going to come out from Team 1, and it's a Capitao. You have to assume that the next one is probably going to be Thatcher from the way that things typically work.
It'll probably be a Thatcher, yeah. And I'm guessing Ninjas in Pyjamas will also ban an Echo, but it's likely, if not NIP, one of these teams will ban an Echo. We could also see a Valkyrie ban on this map as opposed to a Mira ban, but, you know, it can go any which way. One big thing that is worth noting is that we've got a Nomad in play, which is very different. Nomad is typically banned on Consulate. And instead, so something very, very different here, actually. Also, in the last ban, Clash done away with. So that is quite interesting. Very, very strange. It means Mira's in play, Valkyrie's in play, Maestro's in play. These are your typical, those 3 operators are your typical bans in this kind of situation. But not so for this match, it seems, as Clash is the option opted in by Team 1. But we've got our bans done, and we'll load into the match. It seems like it's going to be a basement defense first with a Kaid and no Bandit. Maestro 6-picked into. They 6-pick into the Maestro to try and make it not obvious that they're playing in the bottom floor. Maestro is super effective everywhere, sure, but he's very, very effective on the Consulate basement. In fact, it is probably one of his best bomb sites, period, in this game. There are some locations you can put Evil Eyes on this site that are just so powerful for controlling the whole garage area.
Additionally, with the Maestro in play on garage, an EMP is one of the best ways to take out those Evil Eye cams. You throw an EMP deep into the site, the Evil Eye opens up, you shoot it, it's gone, totally removed. But now, without it, if you're placing an Evil Eye cam by the white van, if you're placing one by the black car, you need some form of explosive to take care of it. If you look at NIP's lineup, the only 2 operators that have the ability to do that are Pino and Muzi, unless they shoot the Evil Eye while it is open. And from the looks of the composition of Team 1, the Jaeger might prove to be a little bit difficult for NIP to get around, though there hasn't really been that much that NIP has struggled with in regards to playing against so far this season at all. So you've got time for, if you're NIP, and you've got experience to be able to dance around the operators that are brought from Team 1. But Team 1 are opting for this half measure of gadget denial as well as info denial, not really investing with a Mozzie, not really investing with OMI either, as both of them are available. So a little bit of both, I guess half and half, and we'll see how they assemble it on site and where NIP chooses to attack from.
So, nothing too crazy happening just yet. Ninjas in Pyjamas, I think, just going through the motions, standard stuff. It's what you expect from them. They're getting a little aggro with some of the ways they're taking control. As you can see, they've skipped over the whole take control of admin office sort of take that we're used to seeing for top 4 control, and instead they'll just repel in through yellow stairs, repel on the CEO windows, you know, like a more, like I said, aggressive and less time-consuming method to getting the control that they know they want. Ninjas in Pyjamas also need to take control of the middle floor. That's the big step, though, because that's where Team 1 are actually holding. You have somebody playing inside of the bathroom. It might have fallen back after Pino pushed himself into piano. No, he's still there. Falls, the mute, attempting to hold to this position. Pino setting up for the nade, and he lands the shot. That's the angle over the stall. It's a well-known angle now, and because it's well-known, well, you're not going to get any good kills from there. So, Team 1 with the first casualty.
And this top floor control that we see, or rather the floor above the bomb site control that we see right now from Nip, is where you put the defenders in a chokehold. And that's what the Buck is going to continue to do. He will likely go unpunished from his position, as he's got Psycho nearby and Julio as well. So the spread on that first floor is really strong. The only thing you might have to be a little bit wary of is if you didn't drone out that second floor and somebody went for a deeper lurk. That won't be the case, though, as an Electric Claw works. Pino's a little bit too slow, and down goes an exothermic charge. 40 seconds left. If Kamikaze doesn't still have any available, then it's going to get challenging. But no, there goes the exothermic charge. The Electric Claw is removed as well, and at least a portion of that garage panel is open for Nip to be able to walk in. The problem is they haven't really cleared out or pressured the rest of the site. Rayduck taking a bit of damage. He'll have to scoot off over to Pipes, and he gets finished off by Julio. I don't know where Julio is playing, but he's got above. He's got the hatch control, and that was an unfortunate series of timing for Team 1. They'll answer back, though, get in their licks as well. A second kill from Julio will come out. He drops, and that's it for him. A swift trade will give numbers advantage still to Nip, and they will maintain that, with Lukid just waiting for the diffuser to go down. He's got the call, but he'll have to peek out, and if somebody's watching, no, he won't! Nobody catches Lukid, and he manages to do the work that the rest of his team couldn't do. The diffuser will not get planted from Nip, and at the very final moments, it's a hero play from Team 1 to win them the round.
I am honestly a little shocked that nobody from Ninjas in Pyjamas was watching for Lukid to make that rush. The fact that he was able to get that denial on the diffuse planter is just a huge oversight for Nip. A lot of it comes down to time, of course, but I actually honestly thought the time management for Ninjas in Pyjamas was fairly decent. They had control of piano at around the half round mark. That's solid. They were opening up from above, punishing Team 1 and getting a good amount of pressure exerted onto the defense. And yet, still, they come down to a 0-0 plant after the engagements are done. And in a situation that certainly should have been Ninjas in Pyjamas, they can't lock down the last player, and they lose the round because Luka just times it right. Well played to him. Massive props, but also that really does fall on Ninjas in Pyjamas' shoulders.
A crucial oversight with both members of Nip seemingly stacked up over by Pipes and Yellow. And yeah, you have a massive blind spot being the rotate, a very common rotate. The spot that the Jaeger appeared out of is where most people are expecting you to push from, especially with those Evil Eye cams still up. You have Maestro's main gadget still hanging around. It's going to be in a position to ping what is usually a default spot, which was where the plant was going down in front of White Van. Surprising that a team like Nip, with the experience that they have and the amount of games that they've played, that they wouldn't have somebody watching that angle. It's a bit perplexing. And a lot of teams have committed these style of errors this week. We've seen it in NA, we've seen it in EU, and now LATAM is going to join the pack as well.
Now, it is a top 4 defense, and that necessitates, of course, top 4 take. It'll be a CEO side for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Nomad being brought. That's going to make the runouts very difficult for Team 1, but I honestly don't think that they would even go for many runouts in a matchup like this. I expect Team 1 to be playing very safe throughout this match. Of course, we've been surprised by things before. Expectations are almost never met when it comes to this kind of a match. Ash charge to open up the wall into connector, give a double angle. That actually could work for the defenders because now they can peek that angle from 2 different positions. But the way that Skadinya is playing it, his position actually became much more difficult for him as an individual to play, even though potentially it could be worse for Ninjas in Pyjamas. That's good awareness from Muzi, though. I think that's probably the right call, just to make it more difficult for Skadinya to rotate.
Look at your split take that's going on right now from Nip, and they're actually placing a lot of emphasis on yellow stairs. If you've got somebody heading on in through admin, or even just on that balcony, then you've got a great amount of line of sight on both of the bomb sites, but you don't have the presence over inside of admin right now, unless Pino is rotating over, but it looks like he might be going towards the A-bomb site windows. Then there is an opportunity that has presented itself for Nip to try to pressure from 3 separate angles. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case right now. And Nip obviously don't like something about this execute, as they are all rotating with about a minute left. Muzi is still just hanging on the B bomb site window, watching in very intently for somebody to cross over towards the top of the desk that leads into the bomb site. A single shot, maybe to try to provoke somebody into a reaction, but there's no bait that's taken. Down goes Pino, the buck who had rotated. So trouble in the waters for Nip as they forfeit that first pick.
They've still got a decent amount of pressure on the site, but a lot of it's just been alleviated by Reduct. He does get refragged, but still lead for Team 1. That was a really dangerous play for Reduct, but at least he got something out of it before being eliminated. Psycho at the top of yellow. How has he been allowed to take that control? He's going to apply a lot of pressure and get falls. Skidini will shut him down, though, from his position near Big Desk. Team 1 still have control of CEO. The repel, though, does get Skidini down at least, and he'll be finished off. The plant could happen, but there might be a C4 for Pelipox. No, he's used it already. That's dangerous. It's going to need to be a guns out retake here for the defense, but it won't happen. Post-plant now in a 1v1. Julio on repel. This should be an easy win for Julio, but he has to play it smart. Probably going to be a run out from Lukid. He's looking for the option. Checking to see that the barricade's broken. That's smart given the bugs we've had lately. Going for a fake out. No stick. Julio playing exceptionally smart. Here's the run out, and it's shut down by Julio. Ninjas of Pyjamas will take that round. Well played to them for that CEO plant.
Well, whatever magic we saw Nip give up on that very first round, they make back in a hurry on the second, because that very much should have been a round that Team 1 prevailed in, but then they didn't, just as round 1 should have been Nip's. And both teams commit a couple mistakes. Team 1 just peeking a little bit too much. You know you've got Julio on repel on those console office windows. You know he's up there, and you lose 2 people to him. And the second one peaks unnecessarily. The smart play was when Lukid decided to rotate over to yellow. You don't need the Doc to peek that. You don't need the Goyo to peek that. You have Lukid rotate. Julio doesn't catch him, and down goes the planter inside of console office, freeing you up and putting Julio in a position where now he needs to repel into his death. That's a simple error that was made, and a bit over aggressiveness that got punished very quickly by Nip.
The biggest thing, the key factor to that round's outcome for me has got to be the yellow stairs control that Psycho was able to establish. He only got 1 kill from top yellow, but if T1 had maintained control of yellow stairs, then they would have been able to maintain control of CEO, and the plant never would have gone down in the first place. So that really does fall on T1's shoulders. And I massive critique to them for not holding on to yellow, as is standard practice to deny a CEO take in this day and age. It is what it is, though. Round done. I mean, you can tell how shocked I was that Team 1 wasn't holding it when I tripped all over myself trying to express the shock when it was happening in the middle of the round. The hold for the top floor is going to need to be corrected for Team 1 in their second attempt. We'll see if Nip go for another CEO take. That's a big question for me, is because we don't see CEO takes actually that often. And Nip have already brought it out in a very minimal way. I'd say in a minimum contact kind of execution, not taking control of yellow or as like a key point. They put Psycho there, but it clearly wasn't the whole focus for Nip, and not taking control of piano either. And these are often steps that will be taken to ensure that you can plant at CEO, but Nip just went for close contact, get it done sort of play.
So Team 1's setup, it looks very similar to what we'd seen before, but the Goyo is obviously not in play in connector. Skagenia is going to be holding that one down, and Lukid actually looks like he's waiting to play off of info for a run out over from Visa doors, and there he goes. Is he going to catch anybody on repel? No, the answer is no. He heads right back in. He's got Felipox by his side, and they're going to rotate downstairs. They'll head on over towards the other side of the map, They will shuffle this defense and try to get back into sight, but Nip might be able to drone this out and realize that there's very minimal sight pressure in comparison to what they experienced in the previous round.
You know what operator is not banned? Valkyrie. You know what operator would facilitate runouts like that for Lucid? Valkyrie. You know what operator is typically really powerful and often played on Consulate? I'm sure you can guess. And I'm sort of surprised the team would have decided not to bring Valkyrie. Just as surprised as I am on the way that they're holding yellow, but it's working out this time as Falls will take down Pino and retake into the yellow staircase. He was holding by the big desk, waiting for the opportunity to push, and there's your opportunity. Lucid will get Psycho as well, so Team 1, 2 men up. Yellow stairs control established. Kamikaze will get Lucid as he attempts to rotate down the yellow stairs, strangely. And now, a little bit of back and forth.
Lucid has been such a clutch operator and making really smart plays that it's a bit damning that he's gone. So, will he see somebody else join him? The answer is yes. Kamikaze peeks around yellow stairs very aggressively, pre-firing, while Julio had the coverage from above, so nobody would possibly end up running into his line of sight. There's a pre-fire onto the head of Kamikaze. The dock pops up, and Kamikaze's actually safe right now. Right behind him is Musi, who will continue to walk through, but the Hibana holes that have been opened up is being watched very intently by Skadinia, and 3 members now of Team 1 will try to cut Julio off of Repel. Julio was successful in this 1v3 last time, but it was a different set of circumstances, and now you can see the patience from Team 1 as to what they should have done in the previous round. No unnecessary peeking, really, but I say that as Skadinia decides to take the fight towards Julio. He knows that he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. And just like that, Team 1 will take the round as they decide to peek him, knowing that Julio was virtually out of time. They still could have just waited for him to try to repel in. It's a tough shot to make, but Team 1 makes it happen. They will go right back to holding the lead, and we'll move to round number 4.
So same setup there from Team 1, but different results. A big part of that is the way that Ninja Pyjamas played it. Nip tried to focus 4 of their players on the yellow stairs. That's crazy. That's too much. You're stacking a lot onto one bed. All eggs in one basket, as the saying goes. And it cost Nip way too much. It ended up losing them the round. And now as Nip fall into the trap, it reveals itself. Team 1 set up by yellow was not, in fact, I guess, a lackluster hold of yellow, but rather a trap strategy for yellow. They wanted Nip to take it, or so it seems. I don't think that that strat would have worked as well had Nip not opened the bathroom wall with their Hibana. Why are they opening that angle? Skadinia got 2 kills on that angle because it was opened by the Hibana. Truly confusing. And I think that next time Nip go to that top floor attack, they might hopefully not open that angle if they want to apply so much pressure to yellow and use it to attack the bomb site. The shield setup for Team 1 by Big Desk is working fairly well. And while they're not holding yellow, they, again, are baiting yellow. And Nip fell for the bait that round.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
So the first site rotation is done, and Team 1 obviously liked what they saw on Garage to go back down there, despite the fact that you and I both agree that that should have been a Nip round and was well played by Lucid, despite the fact that it was poorly played by Nip. But if Nip can gain control of Piano as quickly as they do, with nobody from Team 1 able to inflict any damage upon them, as we saw from Pino last time, as he was able to shake off at least one Electric Claw, and it took a while, but Kamikaze got that door open, then once again, there will be this chokehold that essentially you see the attackers put on the defenders with that vertical pressure, just simply sitting up top and waiting. And speaking of sitting up top and waiting, well, it's Pino right now, just holding an angle onto the windows, on Repel, waiting for the off-site player to rotate on over. Hard to tell exactly who that is from the silhouette. It kind of looks like Mozzie, but I don't know if it is. I'm not entirely sure who's situated in that area, and obviously the spectator can't hear us, I don't think, so...
That's a Jaeger, I think.
Is it Jaeger? I couldn't tell if it was Jaeger or Mozzie.
He's got the skull headgear, and he's got the little things on his back.
That's there you go.
The Mozzie Pest is helping out real well here. As he won't be spotted.
The closet wall is soft, and chunks of it have been shot away, but at what point do you decide to just go for it regardless? And I think that's what Nip is doing now. They've decided that, you know, that's more than enough. Let's just simply start on the actual garage panel, and Psycho's going to open it up as best as he can, allowing for some allowing for some more soft destruction, but he's going to go for the whole garage. My goodness, I was wondering exactly what he was doing, and he's going to get that whole panel open, Michael.
Yeah, he's doing like at least 2 panels, possibly. He could have gotten 3, to be honest, with the way he was doing that, but he settled for the 2. And there's Reduct, the Jaeger, who was playing at top yellow, rotating CEO, and he'll get a kill from Psycho, or onto Psycho, but his job is done. So at least there's that. The Maverick did what he had to do, and knowing that Psycho's going to be angry about death, I'm sure, but more just happy he got it done before he died. NiP are looking to push in through garage, it seems. There's not a lot of time for them to work with. An air jab detonates, and there will be a kill for Julio, possibly reacting to his air jab. It was very delayed, of course, but at least the position was given away. 20 seconds left here, well, 25, really. Nice angle there from the Mozzie of Lukid, holding on to yellow stairs. Falls gets a C4 on the Muzi, who is trying to push in garage, but there's 2 more responding from NiP. And there it is, Team 1 cleaning up with the last 2. Constant flurry of action in that engagement. Team 1, though, feeling pretty solid on these Consulate defenses.
Yeah, NiP are just stalling out and taking so long to be able to pull these off. And we actually saw this at the Invitational. I'm trying to remember what team it was. I think it was against BDS. I'd have to go back and look at it up specifically, but just off of memory, I remember we saw NiP play Consulate, and on defense, they were great. On attack, they kept getting held up at the garage door. And that is a massive disadvantage. You need to be able to take that control quickly. I like that we saw the Maverick come out. I think it obviously helped them quite a bit, but they didn't have a good roam presence, or they didn't have a good roam clear presence at all. They didn't have a good entry. They weren't able to grab map control the way they wanted. They lost their duels, and then they were just at the mercy of a clock where they had to run in through the garage door. And at that point, it's easy for the defenders to just hold an angle. But it does appear that NiP is going to try something a little bit different this time. It's going to be a lobby defense. Now, given the fact that both console office upstairs and garage on that bottom floor are locked, you suspect that a lot of teams will either go towards Teller's Archives, which has become the more common bomb site for a lot of teams, or lobby. What is the change that we are seeing being made? Is that Kamikaze falls off of the hard breach, and he'll go to Dokkaebi instead. This is very similar to our first matchup when it was Ints versus Singularity. And Ints decided we don't need a hard breach, we'll just run a Finka. In this case, the setup that's being made downstairs by Team 1 will likely be completely ignored, and expect to see a rush strategy of some kind, maybe from over towards Visa, or even just the front door. Because I would suspect that NiP are not going to take a lot of time to try to drone this out. They might just hit the site and try to get a plant off ASAP. Possible.
Almost looked like they were going to. I'm expecting this to be like a repel strat with the way they're setting up right now, maybe a repel to piano. Or no, they're going for meeting control. They got somebody on the balcony, so maybe just a standard play for the plant in the main lobby? I mean, there's options here. With the Nomad in play, if they can get air jabs into certain locations, then they can completely cut off the rotations back into the site and make for a really easy repel strat. Or not repel strat, but plants. And then repel to cover from meeting. I mean, you don't have to take control of meeting as long as you deny the defenders being in meeting. That's really the key. Are they going for it already? It kind of looks like it. Yeah, it's a phone call on a plant. Muzi will get Skadinia. That's the guy on repel by meeting, as I said earlier. Telepox will be stopped. The C4, though, was called, and Kamikaze fell off as a result. Falls peeking will deny the planter. Lukid also, from above, doing some work, as Muzi, who is on repel for meeting, is eliminated. So Team 1 have reestablished control of their own bomb site, but look at the HP on these last 2 defenders. It's not looking very likely that they're going to be able to clutch this out.
Not at all, but Fellapox has the diffuser in his grasp. He gets droned out. They know that he's down below in the antechamber, and he'll likely play over closer and safer to the bathroom with Lukid above. You have a numbers advantage if you're NiP, and you've got so much time left. The beauty of an attack being that quick means that you can get somebody upstairs and establish a bit of a vertical play of your own kind. Lukid obviously knows this. He's suspecting that he's going to get a push from over on Visa's stairs, which is where his aim is trained. Fellapox has a major blind spot, and if Lukid isn't watching, somebody could conceivably just walk through the main lobby, challenge Fellapox, and win that gunfight quite easily, especially since Lukid is preoccupied with Visa. That's your plan if you're NiP. Send somebody upstairs, distract the Mozzie, collapse on Fellapox, and even if somebody loses that fight to Lukid, you have to put another person back up top to watch while the plant goes down. The problem is that NIP are not using their time very effectively. They've wasted about 40 seconds, and Felipox knows he's going to get pushed. Down goes Pino. NIP are blind right now. They're being thwarted by the Mute and Mozzie's working together, and what is still a very winnable round from NIP is proving to be quite challenging. Nobody's been able to grab the diffuser until I say that. Julio gets it. He gets gunned down from Lukid, and NIP are just letting this, not just round, but this match slip through their fingers. Entering through bathroom, it's the Zofia, but it's perfect in the stretch for Team 1. They take down every member of NIP, and nobody can shut them down. Both Felipox and you saw the Mozzie playing above, both of them so low on HP, yet it didn't really matter.
Strange play there from NIP, that's for sure. Well done to Team 1, clutching out another round that they really shouldn't have been able to clutch. I say poor play. I think you really summed it up well when you said that Ninjas and Pyjamas were using their time extremely poorly. When it came down to that 3v2, there was about just a little bit more than half the round left, and then it ended up going to the dying seconds after the clutch finished out, because NIP just kind of spread out and did their own thing. One person by the main door to try and get diffuser. One person rappel into piano while the other one stays on piano rappel. Then when the first person dies, the second person comes in, and someone's dying by the main door after they try to get the diffuser. I don't know. That was a mess. An absolute mess. Ninjas and Pyjamas needed to decide on a play, commit to it as a team, and get that diffuser, get that plant, or maybe just get the kills, whichever one. They had time to actually make that happen. They could have done anything. And instead, for a solid minute, they did nothing. And then their backs are up against a wall.
10 seconds.
And then round over, when they failed to win their 1v1s. It's a really disheartening kind of round to watch. But, you know, we saw this earlier today in our first match. Where it turned out it was just a attacker-sided match. Maybe this will be just a defender-sided match. Who knows? I mean, again, you get that kind of thing regardless of map, sometimes just based on the teams and how they match up with each other.
I mean, Consulate can skew towards the defense, but what was most frustrating watching NIP in that round was they fed 3 drones to the Mute, who had never moved from that position. Okay, you know that there's a Mute playing over there. Why don't you rotate somebody over towards Yellow? Yellow was totally clear. Stop feeding the same drones to the same operator in the same spot.
Yeah.
I get that you're droning it out because you want to see if he's moved or maneuvered out of that position. But if you know somebody is playing up top, watching that balcony and watching the diffuser, and the Mute is playing over by the bathroom, how long does it take you to rush over to Yellow Stairs and push in? The Mute will probably hear the Yellow Stairs door break, if it's not already open, and then you've now flushed him out, and you could have 2 members of the team, the remaining members, rush on in and try to avoid the Mozzie that's playing above. There's so many things that NIP could have done there, and as a NIP fan, I would have been exceptionally frustrated watching that.
Now, player in Vista Stairs has been spotted out. That's Reduct. NIP are trying to pick him off, but it's going to be Muzi who actually is the first casualty, as he's been run out on by Felipox coming out of piano. Not a great result there for Ninjas and Pyjamas. Nade gets eaten up there by one of the discs. You have to expect that since you're trying to kill a Wamai. Julio will get the Wamai, though, as he attempts to fall back. He must have heard the nade and tried to retreat down the stairs, and Julio's ready to win that fight. Surprised he could do so with the pistol on Nomad. Now, even man count, but much better HP situation for Team 1. Ninjas and Pyjamas are going to have a pretty tall task when it comes to executing onto this bomb site, considering all the utility the Team 1 still has to deny the plant. They might even have a C4 from below, if that's where Felipox currently finds himself, but of course we don't know that. We'll see when we see. Now he's maneuvered over to Connector, but he could still have the C4.
This is the same setup that we saw, or a very similar setup, at least at its base level, but Team 1 knowing that it's going to be a take from, instead of the west side by the console windows, that it's going to be over towards admin. Well, they've decided, let's use the shields the other way. Frag Grenade sails out and finds its intended target, giving an advantage back to NIP with 30 seconds remaining. Tough given the setup that Team 1 has had to face console office, but smart from NIP to decide to attack from a different angle. Kamikaze is waiting for the all clear to head into A and begin to get the plant down. He'll do so with the bomb chassis giving him a little bit of cover. Lucan finds 1 kill for his team to keep it even, and Kamikaze will need some extra strong protection. He gets that diffuser down, and Nip will find that plant quite easily. But Skajenia with 2 big kills, leaving Psycho now in a 1v3. His position known and spotted. The Type 89 will chew through the Jaeger, and positioned. It will be the only hope now for Nip. He's vulnerable from multiple angles, gets a good call, but doesn't see the dock of Skajenia push up towards the top of Visa stairs, and it's yet another clutch from the member of Team 1 returning to this roster, and Team 1 will go up 5-1 at the first half here against Nip.
Well, that is the last place team, statistically worst in the region, going up 5-1 against the first place team, statistically best in the region. And, you know, you don't expect to see it. But again, this could just be a defender-sided situation. As we switch to halves, we're going to find out, is Nip just better on defense for Consulate? Or it could be one other thing, and this is what I'm thinking might be the case. I don't think Nip practiced for this one. I'm watching the way that they're playing right now, and it definitely seems like Nip kind of glided into this match because they're very slow on the droning. They seem borderline blind on a lot of these rounds. And granted, there's been a lot of mutant Mozzie, so that in their defense, play devil's advocate for Nip. That is a factor that needs to be considered. But these are the sort of hurdles that they've already been, had to get used to from past matches. So I am a little surprised that they're struggling with stuff like that so much in this one. It either Nip didn't practice going into this, or they aren't taking it seriously, or something. But they're not really playing like the Nip that we've seen in other Pro League matches or in at the Invitational. That they took second at the Invitational. That's a crazy result. They tore through absolute titans to get to that position, by the way. It was a long road. So the way that we're seeing them play right now is definitely below expectations.
I would say so, and I'd be absolutely in agreement with that one. And Team 1 have already assembled very closely at this wall to try and shake off the Electric Claw from Julio that's been positioned, and I don't think they can hit it, but they drone effectively, and it looks like they actually might have just gotten it. Now, there will likely be another Electric Claw tossed on down, but Julio wasn't really in a position to do much with it. The garage wall gets opened up by Team 1 very, very quickly. Still over 2 minutes left in this round, and Falls is just in. All right, Team 1 decides to just rush in. Julio greets Kamikaze with waiting arms, but he'll get caught, as now everybody from Team 1 has the sight control they need. Radek's a little slow on the reflexes, but he'll shut down a push from that staff area. And now Anon as well, one next to Lucan. Diffuser down. Team 1 in full control. They have everything working for them at the moment. There's another from Rayduct, and they will just thin the herd as the retake from Muzi on the stairs will make an ungodly racket over all those track stingers. A beating happens right in front of our eyes, and Muzi above will now need to try to find somebody through the very limited destruction that's been done. This should be match point for Team 1. A big 1 point for them, as Muzi is essentially hopeless. Lost upstairs. I think he knows that. You're going to have to mentally reset if you're Nip. You have lost the absolute plot of this matchup, and as the timer hits 7 seconds, that's the round as well. Team 1 on match point. This is absolutely incredible from their end, and a almost flawless break into the site ends up paying off for them.
Well then. Team 1, a great execution through the garage. Opened it up. Pushed on in. They did not consider anything. They just went for it. Nip weren't ready for that. It's clear as day that they were not prepared. But I guess the bravery on the side of Team 1 is rewarded. And they get to match point. And as you said, Parker, 1 whole point for Nip. So we're 1 round away from Ninjas and Pyjamas getting 7-1 by a team that, I mean, they have 6 points this season. They've beaten 1 other team. It's not been a good season for them. Then again, Who did they beat? Was it, I want to say it was FaZe, actually. Yeah, they beat FaZe in Playday number 4. Team 1 are the upset team, I guess. That's just what they're good at.
I mean, kudos to them for that. They are trying to ensure that we get back on schedule as quickly as possible. So they're the real MVPs of everybody at home that are keeping track of their calendar and timer, given the fact that we should have our, well, if you have one match starting at 6, the other starting at 7:15, another starting at 8, we're running about an hour behind, roughly.
Yeah,
but they're trying to get us back up to speed.
This has been a leisurely breeze for Team 1 thus far. Just kind of cruising through this match. But they're enjoying this. So the question for me is really, where's Nip? What's gonna happen with them? You know, when are they gonna show up? Because the way that they're playing right now is definitely... I mean, most of it's honestly Team 1. Team 1's playing really well. They are on top of this match right this second. And you have to give credit to them for taking control so readily. The big thing that I have to note with Team 1's play is their confidence in taking these fights. It is a very impressive performance thus far. Only one of those panels is not electrocuted by the second Electroclaw, and so it will get opened up, but the other ones might not be able to get opened up there.
So we got to see actually last round how they were utilizing it. The 2 Electroclaws were going on the walls on either side of panels 1 and 3. So that's what the frag grenade is being intended for. Both of the Electroclaws are down, and now it looks like the other one is gone, but they were being employed so that you couldn't just throw one grenade in, and the idea here from Nip is that they know that they're going to lose the one wall to a frag grenade, but try to hold on to the second. Now, as you can see, that's not obviously going according to plan, as this garage wall has been completely opened up by Team 1, though it is going to be much slower for them to be able to rush into the garage and inflict some pain on Nip.
They're just considering their push a little bit more, it seems. Evil Eye that needs to be dealt with. There is still a lifeline for Skadinia, but he's got to be careful. He's peeking very dangerously. He needs to get that Evil Eye and the shield. He'll get the shield. So step 1 done. Smoke pushes up the cement cover. The shotgun is spotted by Skadinia, but I don't think he really saw it. He was focusing on aiming for the Evil Eye. Now...
That's a bit of a miss, actually. That could be an easy pick onto the Smoke, who's now going to get dropped on back, and Skadinia isn't really there to do all that much. He gets one. They just tear into the site. C4 goes out. Kite is down. This is all Skadinia's round. That's going to leave Musi once again in a 1v3 with the match on the line. 50 seconds remaining in a 1v3. Pelipox looks to be attempting the diffuser, but the animation is stuck. Stuck down goes Rayduck, but Musi can't win them all. Neither can Nip. That's a quick 7-1 for Team 1. And they absolutely humble Ninjas in Pyjamas on Consulate.
So that was utter domination for Team 1, and now we can see why they wanted to go to Consulate, that's for sure. Not even really a question in that match. We saw one round that went really well for Ninjas in Pyjamas on their execution to CEO. Well, really well. It ended in a 1v1 fairly well for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but that was just a clobber